Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's tutorial is like a semi-matte eye and it's got a little bit of glitter, and I'm using some tape for this eye look. So I'm going to explain everything step by step, how I achieved the base and how I did the eye, so carry on watching. So I'm starting off with my model here, and we're going to go straight in with the eyebrows. Now with the eyebrows, all I'm doing is I'm using an eyebrow wax or a gel. You don't need to use this product. You can go straight in with some brow gel or the pomades or pencil and just do that as well if you want to. But lately I've been loving to use the brow gel just purely because it makes less work for me to do afterwards, so I don't really have to fill them in too much because there are normally quite a nice shape of brows there. So I just need to define it a little bit. So all I'm doing is I'm actually just using some eyeshadow, and I'm just using this on the tail end of the eyebrow mainly, and then just filling in a little bit of the front of the eyebrow as well, as much as I need to. And then I'm going to brush these out a little bit later on as well. So then I'm going in with some concealer. Now today I've got most of the products just written down, but the brands I haven't actually set down. Some of them I couldn't remember, but I was just thinking really that I'm going through every single product, and obviously I do use different products as well, but it's more of the techniques that I wanted you guys to pick up on instead of the products, because it's not always the product that's working for you, it's actually how you're doing everything. So I've gone in with concealer this time. I haven't used my P. Louise base this time, and all I've done is I've carved out the eyebrows, taken away the extra product and really tapped everything away. Now I'm going in with a little bit of tape. So I'm using the tape as a guide basically, so this is going to give me that straight edge at the side. So what you need to do is just get the tape, and I'm placing this where I want it. So wherever my tape is, that's how low or high my eyeshadow is going to go. And the important thing is actually to balance both sides out equally. And what I do is I just take the tape on the back of my hands first and take off the extra stickiness, and then I place this underneath the lower lashes and take it upwards however far I want, normally just close to the end of the eyebrow. Once I'm ready to go in with my eyeshadows, I'm just taking like a brownie eyeshadow now, and this is a matte one, and I use the tape as a guide. So I'm starting from the tape. You can see my brush is quite fluffy, so I'm going in quite lightly while I go into the eyes, into the middle of the eyes. So most of my eyeshadow is being deposited on the outer corners of the eyes. So once I've got that orange on as a transition colour, I went in with a dark brown with a slightly smaller brush, and I use my tape again, so I'm winging it out like an eyeliner, and then I'm going in with a black eyeshadow. So I went in my orangey colour first as a transition, kept most of the colour on the outer half of the eye, then I went in with a slightly darker brown, and then underneath that colour I went in with a black. And now I'm just going over with a medium toned black brown, and I'm just blending out everything on that eye look there, just right near the bottom of the lashes. And then what I'm doing is I just went in with a little bit more transition colour and brought this in a little bit further. Now on the inner corners basically I used a matte eyeshadow, so I'm using you can use the Makeup by Mario palette, is really good, the nude one, and this is the Patrick Tar palette that I was using. So you have to pat this in quite a bit. So I pat in, get all the depth of colour that I actually want, and then I start blending it out a little bit if I need to. So I've added this on, and then just in between these two lines, you just want to gently diffuse them just so that it doesn't look too harsh and unblended. And then all I'm going to do is I've just used a shimmer from the same palette, the Patrick Tar palette, and applying this, I'm overlapping that slight transition colour and the white, but I'm keeping it just to the middle of the lid. So the rest of the eye is actually quite matte. It's just literally just this centre bit that I'm adding a little bit of sparkle to. You could use glitter here as well, but I've just used like a shimmer. And then I just wanted to define that black on the eye, so I'm going in with an eyeliner, but I'm keeping it really thin at the moment. I'm not going in for a very heavy wing or anything. And then once everything is dry, you just need to take your tape off. You just need to make sure that you hold the skin a little bit and gently pull this off, because it can be a bit uncomfortable for your bride or your model. cleaned up everything that I needed to do, and then I like to go in with a little bit of serum and then some eye cream. So I normally use some hyaluronic serum or some vitamin C. Any brand, seriously, any brand you can use, whatever you feel that suits you. And then I've gone in with my moisturising cream as well. At the moment I'm using like Ola Henriksen products here. I went in with a blurring primer because the skin needed a little bit, she had a little bit of pores, so I just went in with my Benefit Professional. So I really feel just in the centre of the face, if you add this, it makes a huge difference to your makeup. But again, I've always mentioned this is to leave gaps and time for every skincare product to absorb into your skin before moving on to the primer. So on the waterline, I've just gone in with a nude watercolour waterline. So I went in with a gel liner. I think it's from Gashi's that I used actually. And also in between, I added on like a half lash just to accentuate the eye. So I haven't gone for like a full lash. Foundation wise, I went in with the NARS Longwear again. I'm actually applying this quite thinly. It looks like a lot of product, I always say this, but it's not. It is obviously a lot to your everyday makeup, but for like photographic makeup or for your bridal, for your heavy bases like this, when you apply it like this, it actually gives you a huge coverage and photographs really well as well. So I just blend this all out with my damp beauty blender. So you're going to wet your beauty blender and then squeeze out all the excess water, and then use a tissue paper to squeeze out any extra water in there, and then you're going to use this. You do not want to use a really wet beauty blender at this time because that will interfere with the foundation. So I lightly tap this away first, and then slowly I will drag this down onto the neck as well and make sure I blend everything really well. So this does take you a few minutes to do. So the contour was the Makeup by Mario stick that I used here. And I'm using HMB concealer. So you're just going, I haven't used a really lighter colour here. It's just a few shades lighter than what I needed. And I've just applied this all underneath the eyes and just under the contour area as well, which gives you a little bit more definition and lifts the look a little bit once you're blending. So with the contour, I'm just using a Real Techniques brush here. This is actually a foundation brush, but I'm just using this to blend out about 80–85% of the contour. I don't blend it out completely. I do most of it once I've done the concealer and once I'm doing everything else like the blusher and things like that and the powder. So I just blend everything out. The contour here, I'm just trying to keep it so I actually blend upwards and not downwards, so I'm not dragging anything down onto the face. And then I start tapping out the concealer everywhere I've applied it. I'm just tapping it away. You can use a beauty blender, but I like to use a brush, and I take my time. It does take a few minutes here when you're actually doing that, so do take your time and don't get worried that you've got too much product there. Then I've gone in with a cream blush. This was from Dull Beauty. It was like a pinky tone blusher. We had like a baby pink outfit, so I was just going for like a slightly pinky tone blusher here. So this was a cream blush. So before any powder, I've applied that and blended that out lightly, and then I'm going to go over that with some powder blush as well. Then I'm baking with some Huda Beauty loose powder, and I'm using a powder puff to apply this in all the areas. So this powder is in the shade Sugar Cookie, and it is a slightly lighter colour. So I just bake with that, and it just gives you that slightly extra coverage and changes the colour because I've got obviously all my contour going on and things like that. So it just gives you the light and dark contrast. So I've done my baking, and I'm just going underneath the eyes now. I'm just adding on my eyeshadow. So again, I'm just using the brown, a slightly darker brown closer to the eyes, and then I'm just going to blend that out with a slightly orangey colour that I use as a transition. So the same colours normally I use on the lids is what I will use on the bottom of the lids as well. The eyes, sorry. And then I've also added on a bit of powder contour, and now I'm just blending away my powder, adding on a little bit of depth now. So I'm going back in with some blusher. This blusher was actually from P. Louise. It's a palette that I've got, so I just went in with about 2 shades of the pinks and just added that on where I needed to. So I still need to do a little bit of blending, but I have actually added my setting spray just to bring everything back to life, and then I've gone in with the Dull Beauty highlighter. Sorry, I did mention that was a P. Louise blush. It was actually the Doll Beauty. So yeah, so then we moved on to the lips. I'm just adding on very lightly the Doll Beauty highlighter, but you can see that it really pops in certain lightings and the way when your face is in the light. Lipstick was actually my friend's. They were some Sephora liquid lipsticks. I've not used those before, but I just used like a combination of like a neutral nude colour and like a pink that I just mixed up. So unfortunately I don't know the shade names, but we just used a dark brown lip liner, which is what I tend to use for any lipstick that I use, and then I went in with this lip colour, filled it all out, and then we went ahead and did the hair and added on all the jewellery and the outfit and everything. So I'll show you the final look in a minute. I hope you're enjoying these videos. Please don't forget to subscribe and do leave me a positive comment if you can do, and suggestions of what kind of videos you would like to see. I'm trying my best to change up the content. I have been missing, I know, for a while, but I will be trying my best to upload as and when I can, at least once a week. So look after yourselves, and hopefully inshallah I will see you soon. Thank you.